All right. So, if you're here, you made it to this channel. Number one, welcome. It's Embodied Spirituality. My name is Ashante Marie. We're marriage. Wow. Okay. Where the divine has a message. There we go. But we'll take it. Has a message for you, Manny. Now, there's a part one to this video. If you haven't seen part one, go to part one. Don't watch this right now. Go to part one if you haven't seen part one. Okay. Unless something in your spirit was said, no, really watch this one first. Then who am I? Who am I? Okay. So the last video ended abruptly. I think it's partially because I shouldn't have been doing too much on like maybe on two different levels. Shouldn't have been doing too much with trying to like open up a browser while I got this browser trying to record me. And doing like searches and all that jazz. But yesterday I did it and it was fine, so I didn't think it should have been an issue. But today, maybe the energy is a little extra high. We are in October. This is October vibes, right? Still exciting. Um, I was getting a little amped up towards the end of that last video about a situation that I need to deal with. Um, but the reason why I had brought that person up in the first place was just like I just felt like he kept saying things towards me. Uh-huh. And I have to carry this energy of like, nah, say it like you said it in the booth. Like I'm one of those people. I'm really adamant about trying to make sure that if I'm gonna really talk, if I'm gonna, especially if I'm gonna talk big shit, okay. If I'm saying like, I don't know, I think in all scenarios, in any case, because karma be my friend, because I believe in karma, okay. If I talk shit about you out loud to somebody, 99 maybe 95 to 99% of the time. I won't say 100 because I ain't a perfect person. I'm going to tell that person to their face. I'm going to say it to their face. Will I clean it up a little bit more? Maybe a tad. But generally, because I move in a way that I'm going to tell that person to their face, if I do talk about somebody behind their back, I try and say it in a way that I would be willing to say it to their face. Okay? So that if I do have to clean it up, I'm not cleaning it up that much. I'm just doing a light little sweep. But I'm not like, you know, doing that whole excavation process, you know. Um, and you know, sometimes I think that other people don't move that way, or I know that other people don't move that way. And people want to say things under their breath or passive aggressively and all of that other shit. And I'm just like, nah, nope, no, nah, no, nope. 3:33 on the clock. Um, So yeah, God was like, okay, pull back from this person. And that's fine. I'll take that. You can knock me off of the video for that. And you know what? My prayer was at the beginning of the video that of the beginning of part one that only what messages are meant to come out, what's meant to be shared is what is shared, you know. And God was like, okay, you about to go too far, so let me just pull you all the way back one time so you can reset and recalibrate. That's what this is. Welcome to part two. Um, but we should be wrapping this up soon too. You know, I just wanted to go over a couple more things, and then I'll be out your here. Okay. But thank you. If you're rocking with me, if you saw the first part, if you're watching the second part, thank you for rocking with me. I'm so excited. That makes me so excited. Like I'm so grateful. Actually, I'm so grateful, and it means a lot. It means a lot. So Mhm. Before I get into some other stuff, I wanted to talk about I had mentioned in the first video raising your expectation because somewhere along the way you've lowered it, right? And so I kind of had went into the story of the fact that like, you know, I have lowered my expectation. Like, I had felt like I needed to work crazy in order to survive. Then as my lessons started to change in the beginning of the year, um, just whatever shifts, like I was like, I don't know if I can make it out. I got to do too much to make sure that I make it. Like, it was just like, I don't know, this weird stress. And I just have been in a way, I feel like in those months and moments, I really kind of like let myself go in the abundance mindset way. Like, I let myself go in abundance mindset sort of way. So, one, I just want to tighten up. I want to tighten up a little bit. I need to trim the fat a little bit when it comes to like, and that's not really what I mean. I need to tighten up and I need to clear up, you know, like because I'm like, girl, this is not even what you believe in. Like, there's a certain, like, me having what I have and all that stuff, like, yes, that's what I believe in. But in terms of like this lack stuff or not feeling like I have or not, being able to move the way that I like to, like some of that, I'm like, that is not even what I believe in. I don't even believe that fundamentally. I don't believe that shit fundamentally for my life, like at all. So I need to clear up your belief. Like maybe I need to clear up my beliefs, and maybe you need to clear up your beliefs. Like clear up your beliefs, okay? Um, and like, of course, a lot of people talk about when you're trying to reset your abundance mindset, you need to kind of go back in time and like, where did you pick up on this stuff? Where did you learn this stuff from? And I believe in that. 707 o'clock, and I believe in that. But I also too, just like in its basic core, like, well, I don't know. I was gonna go into like, oh, when you're a baby, blah blah blah. But I'm like, no, maybe people started to feel that when they were a baby. Like depending, like if you're say if you were a child or a baby and that you really needed to get breastfed, but your mom couldn't produce breast milk, right? Because maybe even of their own, and it doesn't have to do with it. I'm just saying, by example, from a lack mentality. So because you couldn't get the sustenance that you needed in that way, and it had to be filled, that void had to be filled from another thing. Maybe like the lack mindset started there. Like that could be a catalyst. That could be the not a catalyst, but that could be like the start of it. The catalyst is probably like the milk not being produced, and why wasn't the milk produced? Is it diet? Is it hormonal? Is it, you know, trauma? You never know, and it's different for different people. And maybe that's not what it is. But so take yourself, say that you grew up in a bubbly world, everything's great, everything's grand, you have access to everything up until like the age of like 3, 4, 5. Say something like that, right? Those are can be very different. But say 4 years old. Let's take four. I want to say three, but let's take four. You know, like say that you've had access to anything that you wanted pretty much from three to up to 3 to 4 years old. Like somewhere along the line, if you're in a place where you feel like you experience having a lack mindset at moments, like when did this start happening? You know, like when did it start happening? What is like the earliest memory that you have of being like, there's not enough, we don't have enough, you know, not capable of, you know, life is too hard, you know. Where did we learn it? The other thing I wanted to speak about was speaking things into existence, of course, claiming it. So now, instead of being like, this is blah, 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 I want to have money. I'm like, I want to have money for my rent, my bills. I want extracurricular activities. I want money for hobbies. I want money for food. I want money for going out. I want money for shopping. I want money for to help people, to help my mom or my sister if they need it, or my nephew if they need it. I want money to help my cat. Are you okay? Girl, she was just looking something and she just had to, like she was about to sneeze. You need to sneeze? I want money if I want another cat. I want another, like money, enough money for another apartment or a house, investments, savings. I want money for a new car, to fix my car, to, you know, girl, build my business, buy office space, girl, pay an assistant, my private chef, my manicurist and pedicurist that's coming to my house or coming over to my mom and my sister's house because I'm putting it on like that. I want like money for my spa treatments, for my acupuncture, for freaking, I don't know, threading eyebrows or something. Girl, I want enough money to pay somebody to just feed me grapes if I want to, you know? Like I want it all. I want it all. Like there's no limit on God. So why should I be limited in my thought, in my dream, in my what I want? And if what I want is truly what I want, that wants me. And the fact that I'm saying it out loud with my breath and my tongue and my mouth, that means that's truly what I want. I've always dreamt of that. I dream of having money for all the fashion. First of all, to be dressed by some of these high class fashion designers, and especially some well known black designers. I want them to be dressing me for free. I want them to put me on their runways and to give me presents. I want flowers. I want lusciousness. I want capes. I want roses. I want a day bed. I want to sip my tea. I want to drink my margarita if I want my margarita. I want my little fiesta dress. I want to travel down. I want to have money to travel anywhere I want to go. I want to have enough money so I can freaking sit on the beach for 3 weeks if I wanted to, and write a book if I wanted to, or not if I wanted to, or put on a concert. I want to have enough money to buy a stadium, an auditorium, a baseball, football, basketball, WNBA, hockey team. I want enough money to put like on some of these skaters. I want money to elevate dancing and dance community, but especially skating community. Okay, let's be clear. Come from. I'm here to build a school. I'm here to build like land. Girl, all of that, all of that, all of that. Like that's who I am. In real life, that's who I am. And if y'all couldn't hear, but I heard it, that was the trait. Confirmation. Money for it all. I want money for it all. Money in abundance and resources for it all. Endless resources and favors and opportunity. Endless resources, favor, and opportunity. Endless resources and favor and opportunity. And the wisdom, discernment, and discipline to know how to not only maintain it, but to also make it flourish. Whew. So work on my advice if I was given unsolicited advice. Then if you clicked on this, you clicked for my unsolicited advice. Work on how you are speaking things into existence. And and I think sometimes too, what happens is sometimes we just revert back a little bit. And I was speaking in a money about money in a certain way, I think, a little bit before. And then as like other people who may not have been as far on their like money mindset thought process, advancement process, um, they would be like, we know you don't like to talk about money that way, and you know. And then so their thoughts started to become my thoughts. And in a way, their ways had become my way, where I'm on this weird ass struggle busting ass energy. And I said, bruh, I can be like, being tight is one thing. Being on the struggle bus, this like half chokehold bus, fuck that shit. That could kiss everybody. Girl, that could kiss girl. Anyways, so like that is literally what happened. I started to let their thoughts penetrate and be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that as much, or maybe I shouldn't be so hardcore about not letting them speak this way around me. Because that's what it was. And it wasn't trying to be like I'm trying to control them. It was more so I'm trying to keep myself and my spiritual and my fucking money and my fucking like abundance intact. And if you over here talking about like, woe is me and nothing and I'm always this and always that, no, no, because what I'm hearing is that. And then so what's being replayed in my head, if I think about all the time that we spent together, that's what's being replayed in my head. Fuck that shit, bruh. Fuck that shit. And what needs to happen is that their name, like their thoughts need to become, or my thoughts need to become their thoughts in terms of the abundance. It's just as much as my thoughts needs to be God's thoughts when it comes to abundance. So my ways can be God's ways of everlasting abundance. Like there's endless and everlasting abundance and sustenance. And you have to claim it. It is mine. I got it. I'm excited. I'm excited. I am excited. Okay. This little girl, she wants some attention, eh? She's saying it's time to go. It's probably because it's late. Okay, we do need to wrap. Okay. And the note that I wanted to say about that is just understanding your own spells. Like every time that we're saying something out loud like that, like even if we're thinking that those are spells, but especially if we're saying it out loud for other people, for witnesses, right? For witnesses, um, those are spells, you know? And spells can become bonds in so many ways. So, like, what are you speaking into existence? And what do you want to speak into existence? And granted, it's not just about dreaming, whatever, it's about doing and all of that stuff, right? That's like another video. That's another time for another day. Okay. But first, it's like, how are you speaking about the things that you want? How are you speaking about the things that you want? You say that you want money, but do you even like, when you see somebody who got it, how do you feel about it? Do you have hater energy on you? You may want to start to clear that up if that's the case. And it happens. We all got to check ourselves at the end of the day, you know? Um, oh, I thought I was about to get over here, off of here in like 5 seconds, but this next little bit that I definitely need to talk about tonight before we get off of here. Okay, we're gonna change streams just a little bit, but we'll bring it back. And so I wanted to bring up ancestors, okay? Um, and I was thinking about how, and I don't know if this happens for, like if you have an ancestor practice already where whether you say their names or you have photos around and that you like reference often, all that stuff, then, great. I'm so glad that you're here. You're, light years ahead of some other people. But if you haven't, right, and you don't think about your ancestors that much, or you don't think about the word ancestors, maybe you think about like, oh, I have my mom and then my dad, and then they have their mom and their dad, but it kind of like stops there, a little bit. And like, of course, we think about all our ancestors and our not ancestors, Jesus, that's what I meant, but like our aunts and uncles too, if you have them, or cousins if you have them. Um, But when you're taking just like the mother father line up, you know, I think it's sometimes easy to to get very singular in thought where it's like, okay, well, singular in terms of like only feeling like, okay, that person had to be alive for me to be alive, right? So it's like, okay, my grandma, right, had to be alive so I'm alive, right? But my grandma's dad also had to be alive for her to be alive, and her mom, right? So it just makes you think this like singular thought. So when you're like, or I'm referencing like a great grandfather, great grandmother, right? It's like, oh, that person had to be alive for me to be here. It can be very singular in like how you think about it. Yeah, they had to be alive for me to be here. They had to be alive for me to be here. But you're not necessarily thinking about the crew all the way. And I say that not to say that this is all the way you. I'm just saying that before, and it's easy to think about them singularly, even when you do some of these practices sometimes, um, to where you kind of forget that you do have. We're getting to the next rap here from my one of my boo things, Eminem. It's like a fucking army marching in back of me. So many lives I touch, so much anger, no particular direction, just sprays and sprays. That's haters. Straight through the radio waves, it plays and plays, whatever. Bumping in your head for days and days. But anyways, the reason why I brought that up though is that you really do have an army behind you. Like, I don't know who really needs to hear this, but you are not alone. And I know I needed to hear it and I need to think it and feel it and believe it all the times. Like I am not alone. And there are so many people who needed to be here in order for me to be here, in order for me to be sitting here on this screen at 22:02 on the clock, in order for me to sit here in front of you guys to record this video, so many people had to be alive for me to be alive. So many people had to be alive for me to be alive. And then you start to go further and further, right? So Spirit was like, okay, Ashante, you can become a little bit of a teacher today. I was like, all right. Because I was like, how do I explain this? Like, and they were like, no, you can use a diagram. That's fine. And I was like, all right, cool. Or bit. I'm like, how we doing this? Okay. There we go. We didn't practice it, how we setting this up, but better here. Better in the middle. Better in the middle. So say that this is yourself, right? Right? Say that's yourself, right? You had mom and dad, right? Then you have their mom, their dad. And we're only doing direct lineage right now. I'm not talking about no stepfathers, no stepmothers, none of that. None of that. No aunts that may have raised them. I'm just talking about who literally like had to be here for you to be here. Okay, I have to move this over. I'm like, where am I at? Okay. Anyways, then you have again M and D. M and D, right? Sorry, I needed to do that last line. Oh, you can't even see it no way. Don't matter. Don't matter. Right? So this is what I have so far, right? There we go. Sorry for the glare. You have yourself, you have your mom, you have your dad, you have your mom, who have their mom and their dad, 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 right? Then you have all of those, right? M, D, M, D. MD, MD, MD. Sorry. I'm like distracting myself even writing this. M, D, M, D. And I don't even have enough space for the last one. That's kind of funny to me. I'm gonna try it again. M, D, M, D, M, D, M, D. Now, so we're just taking direct lineage, right? Okay. Scoot on. Y'all gonna have to just bear with me in this camera because I'm figuring it out. Okay. And that's all right. That's all we care about. What is going on? Okay. This glare is crazy. Can we like do that? Please do not come off of the table. Okay. So that you're one person. Those are two people. This is we go from look, easy math to look, I'll do it in a different color. Ooh, look at the Christmas tree. Vibes. Vibes. I said I was gonna use this. So for your big old one person, you needed to have two people here. Four. Had to. Have to. There's no other option but unless you're a robot or an alien. I can't tell you. I can't tell you those mechanics. I know what it's like to be a human, and that's about it. Okay? So, for your one old self, there had to be two parents, four grandparents, eight great grandparents, and 16 great greats. I haven't even, what is that? 8, 9, 10, 15, 16, or well, I counted the one. So actually, 9, 10, which is 14, plus the 16, that's 30. 30 people. That's a big, decent tribe. That's a big ass tribe. Okay? Of people. Let alone, then you want to start adding in, like, my mom has another daughter, my sister, right? I have more sisters than that, but that's like biologically hers, right? I don't think my dad had any more kids on his side. I'm not sure, right? My grandma, she had three, right? Just my, or no, sorry. I don't know why I said that. I wasn't counting my mom. I wasn't counting my mama. But four, with one of them being the one that I already noted, right? Um, I don't know if there's any extra kids up in there. I don't know about this over here, but I know that somewhere in this department, I think in both of these departments, these people, my great grandparents, one had like 9 kids and one had like 10, right? And we're taking out the one because of them already being noted up here, right? With the number. So now if I just get into like this side, that's one, and go through my mom's lineage versus my dad's. I have one myself, two, three, to include my sister and my mom, 4, 5, 6, to include her sisters. 8, it'll be 14, and then 23. So 23 people around this zone. Okay. That his influence being in my life, maybe whether or not I knew them, didn't know them, whatnot, right? At minimum, there's 23. Mind you, we're not counting anybody who's gotten married with other people and other babies to other babies, okay? So just taking that line, because I don't know how many people, I don't know the names of these grandparents yet or great greats yet, but 23 plus like I don't know, 8 of the 16, right? Is that how I do the math? I don't even know, but something close to it. I don't know. It's a hell of a lot of people, is what I'm trying to tell y'all. It's a hell of a lot of people. Do y'all get that? It's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. Just for you to be you. We be feeling so alone and so cut off. No, no. There's a whole army, an infinitively long army behind you. You know what I mean? Um, and so I wanted to like say that in that way. I felt like Spirit needed me to tell y'all that in that way, like because that was a revelation for myself, even as I did my own work around like doing my own ancestor practice. So I've shared before kind of how I go about mine, but I'm going to share again really quickly here. So I do have an altar that's for my ancestors specifically. I light a candle on it um, pretty much every day. I try to every day um, because I'm getting back into the practice. I had started it before I had moved into this apartment, and then I was doing it, but it's not as official, kind of loosely doing it. And then I've been locking back into it a little bit more, or a lot of bit more, to be honest. Um, so there's, a thing that I said, and there's a thing that I say in the beginning, right? Or what I call counting them in, right? And it makes me think of that song, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Continue. I can see. I'm not gonna do that. Cause it's late. Damn, we're getting into midnight almost. They haven't been on here. Anyways, so when I first learned how to do this or say it in this manner, so to speak, and I've edited, to adjust to what works for me and my palette. Um, but started to learn this a couple years ago while I was in school. Ironically from a white woman, and I say ironically because I'm black. And okay, if I need to over explain that to anybody, like I need to do some more research. Um, but so how I go about saying it is my name is, I say my full name, right? If you have kids, you can go into I am the parent of, whether you are a mother or a father, you could be a masculine or feminine, or I'm the parent of, you can say it that way if you want to make it gender neutral. I am the parent of said person's name or people's name. Then I like to go up. So right, I start for myself. If I have a child, and right now Zyla's my child, okay. So she be in the prayer, okay, and she be knowing to come and sit with me when we pray too. So she be knowing, and it be real, okay. Then I say I am the daughter of my mom's full name, my dad's full name, okay, or as much as his full name as I know. Um, I am also the granddaughter of my grandmother from my mom's side, my grandfather from my mom's side, my grandmother from my father's side, my grandfather from my father's side. Okay. And because I don't have the names of those ancestors yet, but I do have like the names of my grandparents on my mom's side, I'll say their names. And then when I go to the ones that I don't have the names for, and because it's, um, and I didn't even, anyways, and because I don't know both of their names, it's not just one that I don't know. I say the two full names of my the two full names of my grandparents on my father's side is what I say, so that it can call them in. Then I go into the next line. I am the great granddaughter of, and I didn't have all of their names before. I had like two of the names, so I would call that. And then I would say the two other great grandparents from my mother's side, along with the four full names of my great grandparents on my father's side. So that's how I would incorporate all of them, right? And then my last line of what I say at this point, or not my last line, my last official call of my count. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but anyways, the next thing that I say is um, because I have none of the names for my great greats. Yeah, my great greats. I say, and I'm also the great great granddaughter of the full names of the eight great greats on my mother's side and the full names of the eight great greats on my father's side. And I just felt like that was a cool way of saying it. The eight great greats, eight great greats, eight great greats, eight great greats. And so that's where the line stops. Like not the line stops, but that's where I stop the naming specific process. And then after I say that, so to the great greats, and to all my ancestors, all of my ancestors. So now this is trying to call in the loved ones, my sister, my nephew, my aunties, my uncles, my great aunts, and all that stuff. Um, to all of my ancestors that come before and after me. So I'm not only just talking about the ones that have come before or have lived on this earth before or are currently living right now. I'm also calling on the ancestors that shall come after me. Prayerfully, I have some children in the next couple of years. Then, in so many decades from then, they'll have their kids, maybe just 2 decades, maybe three. Um, but they'll have their kids, and then they'll have their kids, and then they'll have their kids. So I want to make sure that I'm also sending prayers and love and getting information from them too. Because if you do believe in traditional African spirituality, there is a universal and or other spiritualities, certain ones that talk about universal consciousness and being able to pull from the universal consciousness, and that everything is connected and we're all connected, and before and after all on the same, there is one, you know um my words are getting a little slippery because I'm tired. Okay. And I'm running out of fumes, but I brought that up because I want you guys to know you're not alone. You do have an army marching in back of you. You do have an army marching in back of you. And you are meant to touch many lives. You're meant to touch many lives. And don't let these fucking other people, these haters, these low vibrational people, or even those thoughts, okay? Those haters over there, okay? Those holes over there, okay? Those thoughts that don't actually resonate, that don't actually set into your belief system well, like get those, number one, get those out. Let them go. They're not supposed to be here no more, okay? Um, I do want to say take care of yourself. I do want to say be kind to yourself. I do want to say take care of yourself and be kind to yourself. Okay. Um, there's a lot going on. It's a new season. It's October. You're gonna be dealing with some energies. Some energies are gonna be coming up. Okay. That's okay. It's okay. The boundaries are really important too. And one of the other messages that I was like, okay, if you doing slide messages, we doing slide messages too. I said I like people who understand boundaries. That's all. That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents. So I don't have to hurt your feelings. Anyway, I have two things. If you made it here, 4040 on the clock. If you made it here, drop 4040 on the clock. Okay? Or in the comment. Type 4040. Type 4040 if you made it here. Also, if you have caught the first video and the second video, I would love you to drop me a pumpkin in both of the comments. In both videos. Pumpkin here and maybe go over there. Maybe a black cat over there. That would be good. Cat energy was the other day though. That was on the other video. It doesn't matter. I want a cat for part one and a pumpkin for part two. But whichever way you do it, I'll be happy. I just want to know that it's you. So have a great day. Maybe listen to some rap music. There's also some good healthy rap music too if you need that. Just Google, YouTube, best friend, AI, talk to the peoples on the phone. Hello, Siri, Bixby, Alexa. All these damn people. I'm about to have a whole slew of them. It's like a fucking army march in the back of me. All right. Have a good night, y'all. I'll see y'all soon. Love you, love you, love you, love you, love you.